They say war is hell, but in World War II, hell came frozen. Soldiers didn't just fight bullets and bombs, they fought frostbite, hunger, and the kind of cold that turns a man's breath into knives. The Eastern Front, the Ardennes, the Arctic convoys, entire armies froze where they stood. But out of that misery came hard-earned wisdom, lessons written in ice and blood, lessons that can still save your life when everything goes wrong. If the grid dies, if your heater fails, if the world stops caring, the cold will come for you the same way it came for them. And when it does, fire might not be your friend. Smoke gives away your position. Light draws attention. And wood? It always runs out. So you do what they did. You turn your body into a furnace, and the world into your insulation. Let's talk about how the frozen warriors of World War II survived the impossible, and how you can too. Every soldier who endured a Russian winter knew this truth. Your body is already your best heater. You're a 100-watt biological engine. Your heart, your muscles, your metabolism, all of it burns calories to keep the core warm. But warmth is a traitor. It escapes fast. The cold doesn't just freeze you, it steals from you. Those who made it through the Eastern Front understood one thing. Layers weren't just uniform regulations, they were physics. Soviet troops often wore multiple layers of wool, cotton and fur, scavenged or handmade, creating what we'd now call a walking sleeping bag. The Germans who copied that trick survived longer than those who didn't. Water kills faster than frostbite. Wet clothing conducts heat 25 times faster than dry air. Soldiers learn to fear their own sweat more than the snow. In Finland's Winter War, veterans mastered a brutal rhythm move, rest, dry. They'd strip layers the moment they felt sweat forming and air them out before the freeze could lock it in. If you're trapped in cold weather, learn from them. Don't overheat. Wet skin is death. Keep your base layer dry, always. Cotton was the enemy. Wool or synthetics were salvation. Even small habits mattered. Soviet soldiers rubbed oil or grease into their boots to make them water-resistant. They stuffed the soles with dry straw to wick moisture. It was crude, but genius. Sometimes survival isn't about new tools. It's about knowing how to use what you have. When tents tore or fires died, soldiers built what they called snow coffins, primitive shelters dug into drifts and lined with branches. They looked like shallow graves, but they worked. Snow, ironically, is an incredible insulator. It traps air, blocks wind, and holds warmth once sealed. This principle evolved into what we now call the debris hut, a natural sleeping bag made of the earth itself. A ridgepole, a frame of branches, and piles of leaves, moss or straw 2 feet thick. Crawl inside, seal the entrance, and your body heat turns that dark, claustrophobic space into a tiny sanctuary. That same trick was used from the Ardennes to the Alps. The smaller the shelter, the better it worked. Tight meant warm. Soldiers learned that if you can barely move inside, you've done it right. Comfort doesn't win in a blizzard. Compactness does. Fire wasn't always possible. In occupied territories or front lines, where smoke meant death, soldiers got creative. They learned the power of thermal mass, heating something that holds warmth for hours. A metal canteen filled with warm water and wrapped in cloth became a soldier's best friend. It turned sleeping bags into steam baths, thawed frozen fingers, and kept frostbite at bay. When that water cooled, it was drinkable. 2 birds, 1 bottle. Even without fire, men used their own bodies to preheat their canteens. They'd tuck bottles under armpits or against their stomachs, letting body heat warm the water slowly before rotating it to their feet. They became walking heat pumps, cycling warmth from core to extremities. Primitive? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. When the Battle of the Bulge turned Belgium into an icebox, soldiers improvised insulation using rations boxes, tarps, and anything they could scavenge. Cardboard became gold. It's full of tiny air pockets that act like miniature thermal barriers. If there's one thing that united every frozen front, it was the huddle. Soldiers, strangers, enemies, sometimes even animals, clung together for warmth. It wasn't camaraderie. It was necessity. 2 bodies together trap heat that one alone can't maintain. The smaller the space, the better the result. Penguins do it. Wolves do it. Humans forgot how. In the cold, pride is a death sentence. If you've got someone beside you, use them. And if you don't, curl up. Knees to chest, arms tight. Minimize surface area, minimize heat loss. Those who fought the Arctic convoys or camped in frozen forests learned a brutal truth. Survival doesn't care about dignity. It only cares about temperature. In every war zone, fire was both salvation and liability. It cooked food, dried clothes, and signalled life, but also death. It drew gunfire, attention, and worse. Many soldiers learned to survive without it. You can too. Your body is a chemical furnace that runs on food, hydration, and sheer defiance. Feed it, move it, insulate it. Your real enemy isn't the cold. It's wasted heat. Plug the leaks, and your body will do the rest. That's the unglamorous truth that kept millions alive across Europe and Asia. The soldiers who lasted weren't tougher. They were smarter. They treated heat like money, spending it carefully and protecting every bit they earned. When the night drags on and the cold presses in, remember what the soldiers of World War II already knew. The world doesn't care if you're comfortable, but you can still fight back, with layers, with debris, with defiance, with nothing but your will and whatever scraps you can scavenge. You're not powerless. You're a walking furnace wrapped in stubbornness, and if you make it to morning, you didn't get lucky, you won. If this story of frozen endurance taught you something, share it. Hit subscribe and join us here on the Forgotten War Fronts, where history isn't just remembered, it's weaponized for survival. Because sometimes the past doesn't just tell stories, it hands you the tools to stay alive.